How are you doing? Welcome, my lunchtime pals. Thank you for hopping on. I am so excited to be back at home, even though I miss everybody. And I'm excited to be able to hop back on here because I've obviously been a little MIA with all the traveling that I do over the summer. If you guys are watching me live, use a heart. Let me know you're watching me live. If this is the first time you've ever caught me live, use a number 1 and let me know like, hey, it's the first time I've ever caught you live. And if you're watching this on replay, I get it. Not everybody can hop on a Facebook Live on their lunch. So just use hashtag replay. Let me know that you caught me on replay because I greatly appreciate that. How are you doing? I am like, my eyes are like shifting back and forth because it's been a while since I've been doing it through StreamYard, and I'm like, I don't remember where everything is. Anyways, I just want to thank all of you guys who came by the shop to see me. It was so great. I know I did I did a few lives from the shop. It was really hard because I was running the shop. My sister was learning to bake. Those of you who may have missed the update, my mom is in Ireland. She left August 6th, and she's in Ireland till like August 23rd, which means my sister is baking, and we had an amazing friend who offered to run the shop while my mom is gone. So it has been interesting to say the least. Like, I don't know if my mom is watching this, and I hope she doesn't until she gets back. But like Lacey, my sister Lacey and I were a little frazzled yesterday, trying to figure out supplies and baking and all of that. So it's been kind of interesting, to say the least. I'm thinking my sister's not going to want to be in the kitchen baking anytime soon after this. I've like bribed her with a couple Saturdays off, like, I don't know if you're supposed to bribe your own family, be like, don't quit your own business. Like, need your help. So it's been crazy. So like when we have to plan for the week, we want to order all of our supplies at once. And so we really have to think about what we're baking for the week. And then you have to like go in and you have to like calculate to make sure you have enough flour and sugar and like all of these things. Well, my mom does all that for us. Like my sister and I, we don't have to do that. She takes care of it, right? So I had to calculate all that. And I had to think about all the things we were going to bake for the week. And then I had to like order it all for her. And my sister had to go get it. And some of the supplies weren't in stock. And we figured it out though. So day 2 of us doing it. And we are way better than yesterday. My poor sister was like, I just want to cry. Poor sister. This is what I'm like. I hope my mom doesn't see this video because my mom is like, oh, is everything good? And I'm like, oh, it went great. I'm like, don't worry about it. We're fine. Like, we're fine. She's fine. Everything's fine. Like, and I know when I say that, she's like, nothing's fine. But I'm really trying. Like, we're trying really, really hard. And I don't want her to know that, like, it was a total chaotic mess yesterday. So don't tell her. I hope she doesn't watch my live while she's over there. I hope she waits until she gets home to watch my live. Other than that, like day 2, we got to go in. We're moving and grooving. We've got this figured out. It's happening, people. It's happening. All right. So today I get to do my live from home. Last week I was traveling and I didn't get to like post that I was traveling or anything like that. So you guys didn't get any notification I wasn't doing a live. But this week I'm home, so I'm doing a live. It was so funny. I like pumped myself up. Like, I've been in my head pumping myself up. I'm going to do my live on Instagram. I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to stream on StreamYard to Facebook Live, Instagram Live. It's not as scary because I know I'll be on Facebook and I'm used to Facebook and I feel more comfortable with Facebook. And I'm like, but I'll go and I'll have it streamed to Instagram and I'll just let everybody know like I'm winging it and I have no idea what's going to happen. And I get in here and I'm pumped to do it. And I cannot stream to Instagram through StreamYard. Like Instagram doesn't like allow third parties to like stream, which is fine. But now I have to like psych myself up again to go live on Instagram. I'm like, really? I was so ready. And I got to do all over again, whatever. So it's so funny because I was like, I had this whole thing, like, I'm not going to lie. I talked to myself in my head. And so I like had this whole thing planned out to tell you guys about how I was winging it and how being an entrepreneur is like 99% of the time winging it and blah, 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 blah. Like I had this whole spiel. So now I'm going to have to redo that, but on Instagram. So I had so much fun. I had so much fun exploring Waterloo. I'm so bummed that I didn't do this. And now that I think about it, I'm like, my sister go back and do this for me. Did you know Waterloo has a payphone? And I don't even know if it works. My kids were mesmerized that there was a payphone on the square. And so like we had this whole conversation of like what it was like to have payphones, like what it was like to call collect, like this whole spiel. And they thought it was so cool. And now that I think about it, like I didn't get any pictures of it and I didn't check it to see if it worked. Like I didn't use it. I was just like, oh, it's so cool. So it was a lot of fun, like going to the different shops, going to the different restaurants, like getting to know people, talking to everybody. So I really enjoyed my trip. I did a lot of things. Well, I say I did a lot of things. I did a lot of things, that's for sure. But like I did a few things that I'd never done before. We went paddleboarding. And I know you're thinking like, girl, you live in Florida. You've never been paddleboarding. I don't want to paddleboard because when I first moved down here, there was a story on the news and a beach that's just up the road from us that somebody was paddleboarding and he was out kind of far. And then there was a shark circle him and he couldn't get back to the shore. It worked out. He ended up back at the shore. The shark didn't eat him or anything like that. But I'm like, okay, note to self, not going to paddleboard in the ocean. And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll take the paddleboards in the water. And then I remember like we have alligators. Like we drive down the side of the road and they're sitting on the side of the road. As a matter of fact, I was in a meeting yesterday and we were talking about like, there was this story not too long ago about this ginormous alligator that was in Naples on a golf course, and it was literally in the community across my street. So I'm not so sure I want to go paddleboarding in random water in Florida either. So I really got to look into that. But I went paddleboarding at a lake up there because it's so funny. Every time we go to the lake, my kids are like, are there any alligators in this lake? No, guys. Are there any sharks in this lake? No, guys. My 5-year-old's like, so it's safe to swim in this water? Yes, it's safe to swim in this water, guys. So that was a lot of fun for us. My kids loved doing it. It was a lot of fun. I really need to like investigate going paddleboarding in Florida. It's probably safe. I probably am just paranoid, but it is what it is. I went on my first float trip. Yes. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't tell the story because I'm going to give you guys 10 things that you didn't know about me. So I'll just leave it at that. We went on a float trip this summer. It was a lot of fun. We went lots of camping, just spending time with family, exploring Waterloo. It was a lot of fun. I am happy to be home. I'm sad because I miss my family. And of course, I miss my nieces who are here since May. So they had to be back. School starting for them. As a matter of fact, school started yesterday for us. And I was like all over the place with my emotions. All 3 of my kids are in school now. So I'm at home by myself. I've been really super busy. So it's kept me busy. Like I've like kept my mind off of it. I dropped them off at school today and I was like driving home and I like panicked because my car was super quiet. And I was like, did I forget a kid? And then I realized I dropped them off at school. So I was okay. So that was weird. But you know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. And I'll keep you guys posted. I thought that I would give you guys, just talk a little bit about eating in the shop. I don't know. That sounds weird. Okay. So as you guys know, like I'm not in Missouri or Illinois. I mean, we're not in Missouri anymore, but I'm not in Illinois either. I'm in Florida. My mom and my sister are both in Illinois. My mom lives in Waterloo and my sister lives in Valmeyer, and I live in Florida, which means I don't always get to taste all the tasty treats. When my mom comes to visit, she bakes me all kinds of stuff. So I look out there, but I don't always get to try anything, which as a matter of fact, a couple of months ago, I did a live when I tasted a bunch of stuff. So then when I was back, of course, I ate a whole bunch more stuff because that's what you do, right? Like you just try everything. And I was so excited because my mom made pistachio muffins in the shop. And I was like, Mom, we have to keep these in rotation. So if you guys tried a pistachio muffin, give me a little wave, like drop a wave in the comment. Be like, I got one of those. They are so good. They're one of my favorite muffins. So if you have never had a pistachio muffin, you should go get one. I mean, come on now. It's not like you can go anywhere and get pistachio muffins all the time. So I highly suggest like step out of your comfort zone and totally try one of the pistachio muffins. One of my favorites. The other thing that I noticed when I was in the shop is that not a lot of people buy cranberry orange muffins. And I think it's because most people are like, cranberries are gross. In all honesty, I didn't like cranberries before, but I've learned to like, as a snack, I eat cranberries and peanuts. It's just a thing. It tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So if you're looking for something that's sweet, but like not as sweet, cranberries and peanuts taste like peanut butter and jelly. All right. But the cranberry orange muffins, I noticed like people are really hesitant to try them. And I was like, that's so weird. You guys, those things are really amazing. The muffin is super moist and it's just an amazing blend of flavors. And that's the other one that I want to suggest. Like, of course, our blueberry muffins are amazing. Chocolate chip are amazing. Espresso muffins are amazing. But I know that people like hesitate with the cranberry orange and the pistachio. And I want to let you guys know, like, by far, I love those guys. Now, if I had a choice between pistachio and cranberry and orange, I'm going to choose pistachio every single time because I absolutely love anything flavored pistachio. But I absolutely love the cranberry orange. I had several of them over the summer as well, along with lots and lots of cheesecake, because let's be real, the cheesecake in the shop is amazing. And so I had lots and lots of cheesecake. The other thing that I realized that you guys may not know much about, because I don't talk about it very often, are our keto muffins. So we don't always have keto muffins in the shop. As you know, we rotate out our product. We work into production what we can for the week, and then we bring it into the store. The keto strawberry muffin is the one that I most recently had. So I've had a cranberry orange keto, I've had the lemon keto, and then I had a strawberry because we had them in the shop when I was there. And I want you guys to know, like, keto muffins are really, really good. They're really moist muffins, so you're not like eating a bunch of dry stuff. Like, I know, like, people think, oh, like, because it's made with alternative flour, they're like, oh, it can be dry, things like that. We work really hard not to have dry products. I mean, we are a bakery. We work extremely hard to that. So just so you know, those keto muffins, they're not dry. They're really moist. The only thing that I have to say is if you've ever eaten anything that has an alternative flour, alternative flours have a different, what is referred to as a mouthfeel in the culinary field. So it doesn't bite the same, but it tastes really good. So you can tell that it's not quite what you're used to. You're like, oh, that's not bad. It's just a little different. So it's not like, oh my, that's so different, I can't even try that. It's like, oh, that's just slightly different. That's really good flavor. Like, I didn't know that this was made with alternative flour. I didn't know this was made with alternative sugar. So yes, I know that you guys are like, but you really should try them. They are really, really good. We love them. We sit around and we munch on them. It's so funny because my niece was like, can you bring me back a strawberry muffin, a keto strawberry muffin? I was like, sure, no problem. And I was just going to take a small bite, just a small bite. And then I ate a little more and I brought it to her and I was like, sorry, I got hungry. She was like, dude, it's a block away. And I was like, what can I say? It's good. I don't know what to tell you. She was like, thanks a lot. I was like, hey, at least I brought it back, right? Anyway, so yeah, I did. I had so much fun. A little bummed it's so mean of me to say. I'm like, I'm a little bummed to be back in my own house. My husband's like, that's not very nice to say. But it's true. It's bittersweet. I love being home. I love being in my own house. It is what it is. And I'm so excited. I've been posting pictures, trying to share with you guys some of the things that my mom has been sharing with her visit to Ireland. So keep looking at our stories. I'll keep sharing some of my favorite pictures that she has shared with us. My aunt and my mom are sharing all kinds of pictures. All right. So now let's segue, because I don't have a good segue for this, so I'm just segueing into it. Today, I thought I would give you guys 10 things that you didn't know about me. It's something that I started thinking about when I was at the shop, and I wrote a whole bunch of stuff down, and I haven't been live since I wrote it all down, so I'm really excited to do it today. I've been thinking about it for a while. First of all, there is somebody who... yeah. Awkward silence. I was going to tell a story, but now it might seem weird, so I guess I'm not going to. Anyways, all right. So we'll just go into the 10 things you didn't know about me, because I tend to overshare about myself. It is who I am. So I have my phone because I typed it up on my phone, so I'm going to read it off of my phone. So the first thing that most people don't know about me is I grew up in Texas. I know, that sounds weird. So if you came in the shop, you know that we're from Perryville. And you're like... You said you're from Perryville. Perryville, Missouri is not Texas. You're not making any sense. So my entire family lives in Perryville and is from that part of Missouri, on both my mom's side and my dad's side. My parents got divorced when I was a kiddo, and we moved to Texas. So I actually grew up, spent 13 years in Texas. And when I say I spent 13 years, now that I am no longer in my 20s, I'm not going to give you my age, no longer in my 20s, 13 years doesn't sound like a very long time, but I started in kindergarten and went all the way through 10th grade in Texas. So I actually grew up in Texas. I don't have much of a Southern accent. There are some things that I say like y'all. I'll give you some other words that I say terribly. A whale. I'm like, whale. And people are like, what are you talking about? My husband and I just got into it the other day because I was trying to say pen, like you write with, but I say pin. Like, did you get the pin? And he's like, what? What are you talking about? And I'm like, you know, I say that word weird. And he was like, well, stop. Sales. Like, look at the sales that are going on. See, there's my little accent. So other than that, you not know that I grew up in Texas, and I did go to high school in Perryville. I did not graduate from Perryville, but I did go to high school in Perryville. I went to a lot of different schools. So yes, but I did. I grew up in Texas, and a lot of people don't know that about me. So that leads me into another really weird thing that most people don't know about me, and it is totally related to Texas. I'll go back to the Texas thing. I actually was talking to my husband, and I guess I don't remember. And I was like, you know what I just realized? And he was like, what? And I was like, that most people don't know I grew up in Texas. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, but I say like, oh, I lived in Texas, but nobody knows like, no, like I straight up started kindergarten in Texas and went all the way through almost my completed high school there. I mean, I was a sophomore, like the end of my sophomore year. And he was like, oh, I guess that is true. Like you did grow up in Texas. And I was like, yeah, I grew up in Texas. And most people don't know that. Obviously my friends know that, like my friends from high school and stuff, because I spent a lot of time, I came back in the summer. I spent the time with my family in the summertime. And so like my friends and stuff, we always communicated while I was in Texas and things like that. But yep, I did. I grew up in Texas. And I showed cattle. Yes, I was in 4-H and FFA, and I showed cattle at county fairs and state fairs, and sometimes I traveled out of state for them. Like when you go to the county fair and you see all the cows in the barns, and you see the kids in the outfits, and they're holding their sticks and they're walking their cows. That was me, and I was really good at it, like extremely good at it. I was chosen to like teach high schoolers how to do it. I won lots of medals. I won like showmanship. I won judging contest. So yes, I grew up on a farm. You wouldn't know that if you met me now. Grew up on a farm, and I showed cattle. I started showing when I was in 3rd grade. My first animal was a steer. His name was Bonzo, and I was told that I was not allowed to change his name unless I wasn't afraid of him anymore. And I never was not afraid of him. So his name remained. And I showed all the way up into high school. So there you go. Something that most people don't know about me. My sister showed pigs. So I don't know. I felt like, let me shove her under the bus. My sister showed pigs. I showed cattle. My sister showed cattle for a little bit. She hated it. She showed pigs. I have a whole lot of stories about that. But yeah, okay. So that was my second thing you didn't know about me. So I lived in Texas. I grew up in Texas, actually. And I showed cattle as a kid. Like I said, I went on my first float trip this summer. So I grew up on 101 acres. We showed cattle. I'd never been on a float trip. My family is from Missouri, the southern part of Missouri, and I've never been on a float trip. My friends have. My husband, who grew up in Schaumburg, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago, has gone on float trips, and I never have until this summer. And I had so much fun. I had the time of my life on the float trip. It was just my family and I, and so it was my kids, it was my sister, my stepsister, my dad. I had some aunts, some uncles, some cousins. Like we had a blast. We had some friends of the family. Like we just had a blast. It was so much fun. I cannot wait to do it again. I died. Besides, I died laughing, not like talking about. I died laughing, like getting stuck on the rocks and like trying to scoot my butt across was hilarious. I don't know why, but I find that the funniest thing. It was so much fun, and like I got tired, and I was like, "Daddy, pull me around." It was so much fun. It was an all-day thing, and I had a blast, to say the least. My kids had fun, and I had fun. Most of my kids had fun. My middle child, like I told you before, she's my loose cannon. She rated it a 6 out of 10, even though she talks very, very highly of it and she wants to do it again. So 6 out of 10 is extremely high in her book. It's just not up to a 10 out of 10. So there you go. Yeah. So I went on my first float trip this summer. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of people don't know I have a master's degree. I have a master's degree in clinical research administration. And I'm not in clinical research for a lot of different reasons that we just won't really go on on here. But yes, I did not end up pursuing a career in clinical research at this time. Who knows what will happen in the future? But as of right now, I've got my business, which is my baby, and I work part-time, and I got my kiddos. So right now I'm not doing that, but I have a master's degree in clinical research administration. I love research, which you'll find out more about how nerdy I am, but like I love research. It's one of my favorite things to do. I had not one, but two sets of encyclopedias when I was a kid. I loved reading them. I loved reading the dictionary. Yeah, I did those things. I know, crazy. Another thing you didn't know about me, besides Perfectly Pastry, which is my mom, my sister, and I's baby, I started to take the fingernail polish off my nails from the wedding, and I got really tired of sitting with my hand in the fingernail polish remover. So I've got to finish that. We'll braise this hand because this hand is done instead of the one that's like hat painted. Anyways, so I'll get to the actual point. So besides my baby, which is Perfectly Pastry, I also work part-time as an account manager for a travel nursing agency called Junction Med Staffing. I've been doing that for, I don't even know how many years now, 3, 4, something like that. So if you're ever interested in travel nursing, hit me up, let me know. I'll hook you up with one of our recruiters, but it is definitely something that I do. I joined the company when it was just starting out, and I've helped grow the company, and I find it exciting to help grow and be part of that along with growing my own business. So it's been really interesting. And some of the things I've learned through my business, I've applied over there, and some things I've learned over there, I've applied to my business. So that has been really awesome. Something you might not know about me. Ready? I love to read more than I love to watch TV. As a matter of fact, I hardly ever turn the TV on. We don't have cable. We were cord cutters like years ago. Like, you know, when we were younger and we just didn't have a whole lot of money to be throwing out for things like cable. We decided to cut the cord. So we have been streaming for quite some time. And so because like the TV back in the day, like Netflix didn't just go to the next thing. You had to actively like go find the next thing you wanted to watch. And so because of that, like I just stopped watching TV. Like I hated doing that. And now I just don't like to watch TV. I'd rather sit and read. I'm not going to lie. Like I've said it before, I love TikTok. I love scrolling on TikTok. Like I love making TikToks. No, I don't love making TikToks. I love thinking of TikToks and recording them. And then I go them to my sister and I'm like, here, put them together. I don't want to do it anymore. But I do. I love to read. And I'm an avid reader. If you watch any of my lives, you guys hear me talk about reading all the time. Total nerd when it comes to reading. I'm like reading articles. I'm reading blog posts. I'm reading books. I'm listening to books. I'm listening to podcasts. Like I just love learning. Therefore, I love reading. Okay. So here's one of those other nerdy things about me. When I was a kid, I used to beg my mom to make me do book reports. And this summer, when you didn't have schoolwork, I would be like, oh, I just want to go back to school. I'm like, my brain is mush, Mom. Give me homework. Make me do a research paper. And she'd be like, all right. And she'd like pick some off the wall topic and be like, all right, go look it up. And so I'd get out my 2 sets of encyclopedias because let's be real, we didn't really have internet. I don't remember when we first got internet, but we didn't use it very often, you know, because we all know what it was like back then. And so I would hit the books and I would like cross-reference everything and I would read and I'd write like these long reports. And then I'd be like, Mom, can you read them? Can you read them and grade them? And she's like, honey, I gave it to you, but I don't want to read it. I don't want She's like, I don't want to grade it for you. I'm like, please. Yeah. So I am a nerd and I used to beg my mom to give me homework all the time over the summer. I'd be like, I need it. I need something to research. So like I said, I love to research. One of my favorite classes in college was my honor lit review class. Like I loved reading like works of art and then arguing my viewpoint. I love to argue, obviously. I loved arguing my viewpoint and like using the text to support it and like using outside research to like support it. Like it's a thing, like it's just a thing I love to do. Hence the degree. Then let's see, because I'm not a huge fan of TV, I'm notorious for not finishing TV series. I have started so many series with my husbands over the year, and I never watched the final seasons or the final episode. I will watch the final season. I will not watch the final episodes. There's something about the finality of TV shows that just like sadden me. So I just don't. Like, I've never finished Rescue Me, Friday Night Lights. I did, however, finish Game of Thrones, which obviously most of us were not very happy with the ending. So I wish I would have never finished it. But I just don't finish series. I hate finished book series for that same reason. Like, whenever I finish a book, like, I am so depressed that my characters are gone. My mom's like, it's so weird, girl. Fiction, reality. You need to figure out that line. I'm like, shh. Yeah. Speaking of reading, I love historical romance novels. That's my favorite genre, historical romance novels. As a matter of fact, I have retained a lot of history now that I'm an adult because of reading historical fiction. It doesn't always have to be romance. Like, Pillars of the Earth, that series, like, I read it and I loved it. It's all historical fiction. It has some romance in it, but it's not, I don't know that it's classified as a historical romance. Love that book. It's actually 3 ginormous books, but they were amazing. So yeah, that's kind of how I retain my history. I'm not a history buff, but I can, no, Mom, don't watch this. Oh no. I just got a notification that my mom is watching this. Ugh. All right, abort. No. Can't do anything about it now. It is what it is. I love her. Hope she's having fun. Anyways, the last tidbit about me, and then I will hop off. I'll hop off now that my mom hopped on. I am an extreme worrier. Yes, like, extreme worrier. Like, sometimes I worry like I don't even know how to explain it. So I'll give you guys an example of like where my mind goes sometimes. It's like, girl, what is wrong with you? So a couple of years for 4th of July, I don't know if you know this, but there is a type of bacteria that is in the ocean that is a flesh-eating bacteria. It's not very rare to get, but it happens, okay? And so we were on the ocean, and I do remember what I did, but I'm not going to tell you guys. So I was like being a stink to my niece, and she like was like grumping at me, and I thought it was so funny what I did, right? And I was like, ha ha ha. And as I turned, laughing obnoxious, if you've ever been around me, I have an obnoxious laugh. And I'm like, ha ha. And about that time, a wave like hits me right in my mouth. Full in my mouth, and I swallow ocean water. And I'm convinced at that point that I have a flesh-eating amoeba, and like, I'm not going to make it to the morning time. This is the 4th of July. So in the morning, we were going to leave to go back up north to see my family. And I was like convinced. I was like in the bathroom trying to puke up all the seawater. Like, I was convinced I was not making it until the morning. And my husband's like, you're crazy. He loves me, but he's like, girl, sometimes I could tell you another story. If you ever see me, please don't repeat how crazy I am to me, because I'll be like, oh, okay, I'll let you in on one more big, like, funny story about myself, and then I will hop off, because obviously my cheeks are red from like giving you guys too much information about myself. When I was younger and I had Brianna, my oldest, I like fell asleep and my husband was on my arm, and when I woke up, my arm hurt really bad and it was tingling, and I was convinced I had a blood clot, and I like went into panic, and I was like pacing around the house, and I was like Google searching like what happens when you have a blood clot. And my husband tried to convince me I didn't have a blood clot, and I'm like, you don't know. And he was like, I do. He's like, I do. I promise you, you don't have a blood clot. And I did. I like screamed from the stairs, you don't know, and like took off running. Like, and then eventually I calmed down and I went to bed, and guess what? I woke up and I didn't have a blood clot. So there's that. Like, it happens, right? I'm sure everybody has done something like that. I can't be the only one. All right, you guys, I have kept you on here for so long that I can't help it. I was so excited to be back on here. It's been so long since I've been on here talking to you guys. So hopefully you hopped on and you listened to the crazy 10 things that you did not know about me. I'd love to find out in the comments, like, what your favorite one about me was. Like, which one surprised you the most? Like, I would have never pinned that for you. I mean, it's harder, I know, when you haven't like met me and you might not know me, but you see me every single week. So I'd be really interested to find out, like, what you thought was like the weirdest one. Like, I didn't know that one about you kind of thing. If you guys are watching me on Facebook, I'd love for you to like and follow us on Facebook. If Facebook's not your jam, I totally get it. Follow us on the other social media. We are at Perfectly Pastry Bakery on Facebook, and all the other social media, we are at Perfectly Pastry. It is a thing. I did it. When I set it up, I didn't know a lot about marketing. I didn't know how to make them all match. One was already taken, and my husband was like, well, then you should just make them all the same. But I didn't. It's a thing. But I was like, I got comments going on. My mom's like dropping comments here. She said one time my Aunt Kim, she had what she said was a birthday bubble. Everyone was like, I don't know what a birthday bubble is. It was an air bubble in her IV, and she panicked and ripped it out. Obviously, I get it from my family. Like, we're just like that, right? It is what it is. All right, you guys, I will talk to you guys later. I will see you next week. And again, we will hopefully hop on here, and I'll try not to talk for 30 minutes. I'm just really excited to see you guys. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.